Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're going to dig into the science of athletic performance to figure out what really separates the good from the great.
You know, dedication, pushing your limits, that's all part of the game, right? We've all seen those training montages, heard the stories of those absolutely grueling workouts.
But is working harder always the answer? I mean, what if I told you that sometimes training harder can actually make you worse? Yeah, that this relentless pursuit of more can lead straight to injuries, burnout, and just stalled progress.
So today, we're going to build the blueprint for intelligent training. We're moving beyond just sheer effort and getting into what makes training truly effective. And it's all based on some core scientific principles.
All right, so let's just dive right into this with something called the training paradox. It's this kind of weird idea that the very thing we do to get better, training, can often be the source of our biggest setbacks.
Okay, get this. Some pretty solid research shows that up to 59% of all athletic injuries are non-contact injuries. So we're not talking about big collisions or tackles here. We're talking about injuries from the simple act of movement itself, running, turning, jumping.
And that right there, that is a huge insight. It tells us that it's the wrong kind of hard work, repeated over and over again, that leads you straight to the sidelines. It's a massive signal that our approach to training, it needs to be just as sophisticated as our work ethic. So, okay, where do we even start with this? Well, it all begins with a deep analysis of your sport's specific needs. I mean, think about it. You can't train effectively if you don't know exactly what you're training for.
And this is a perfect illustration of why a one-size-fits-all training plan is just destined to fail. Just look at a hockey player versus a volleyball player. The hockey player, they're all about short, intense shifts. Their work-to-rest ratio is about 1 to 1.6. It's what we call an all-lactic aerobic sport. Basically, bursts of insane power followed by recovery. Now, the volleyball player, totally different world. They need to pull off somewhere between 100 and 150 maximum effort jumps in one single match. They're relying almost entirely on their anaerobic systems for that super explosive short-duration power. The physical demands are they're fundamentally different. You've got to analyze the movements, the energy systems, the work-to-rest ratios. You have to train for the game you actually play.
Okay, so this leads us perfectly into our second pillar, which is the law of specificity. And this idea, it goes even deeper than just the sport. It applies to every single exercise you do.
So let me ask you a question. Does a deeper squat always lead to better athletic performance? We've all heard it in the gym, right? Go deep or go home. The thinking is a deeper squat means you're stronger, period. Well, a really fascinating study decided to put that exact idea to the test with a group of college athletes.
So here's what they found, and at first, it's pretty much what you'd expect. The athletes who trained the full squat, they got way stronger at the full squat. They saw a 17% gain. The other groups, almost nothing. So yeah, no big surprise there.
But here's where it gets really interesting. What about the transfer to on-field performance, to explosive power? Well, when they measured the athlete's vertical jump, the results completely flipped on their head. The quarter squat group saw a massive 15% increase in their vertical, and the full squat group, almost no improvement at all. Crazy, right?
So what's going on here? It's actually pretty simple. The joint angles you use in a quarter squat are almost identical to the angles you use when you jump. The takeaway is huge. How you perform an exercise, the specific range of motion, is just as important as the exercise itself if you want it to directly transfer to your performance.
All right, that brings us to our final pillar. And this one is all about mastering the balance between load and recovery, between stress and rest. Because let's be real, the magic, the adaptation, where you actually get stronger and faster, that doesn't happen during the workout. It happens during recovery. When your training load consistently, day after day, outstrips your body's ability to recover and refuel, it can lead to a really serious condition. It's called relative energy deficiency in sport, or REDS for short.
And look, this is not just about feeling a little tired or run down. We're talking about a systemic breakdown. It impacts everything: your metabolic rate, your immune system, your bone health, even your psychological well-being. It is the ultimate and frankly dangerous outcome of training harder, but not smarter.
This is exactly why, for instance, you'll see guidelines that advise youth baseball pitchers to only pitch for maybe 8 months out of the 12. Building in those dedicated off periods, it's a core part of what we call periodization, is absolutely critical. It's how you prevent overuse injuries and allow for real,
physiological recovery, and growth, especially for younger athletes who are still developing.
Okay, so let's bring this all together. What does this all mean for you? How do you actually put these pillars into practice, whether you're in the gym or out on the field?
It really all boils down to this simple 3-step blueprint. It's about shifting your focus from just pure, brute force effort to intelligence. First, you analyze the demands. Second, you apply specificity. And third, you manage the load. Analyze, apply, manage.
You know, as the science makes crystal clear, a truly successful training plan isn't just some random collection of hard exercises you found online. It's a holistic, well-rounded approach. It's tailored not just to the sport, but to you, the individual athlete.
And so that's the question I really want to leave you with. Take a hard look at what you're doing. Is your training plan an intelligent blueprint for success, or is it just a random collection of exercises? Because answering that question, well, that's the difference between just working hard and truly achieving your potential.